Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about the 5 things that you should focus on when you're leveling your first character in Final Fantasy XIV. But I want to start by saying that I said first character because I think that's what most people are going to be familiar with. In other games, you pick a character, you pick a class, you level them up, and then if you want to play something different, you pick another character, another class, and you level them up. However, in Final Fantasy XIV, you can play all the classes or jobs on a single character. So most of the time, people are going to be referring to leveling up your first job, not your first character when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV. So I wanted to talk about 5 things I think you should focus on for leveling up your first job. We're going to do a little mix of some web browser stuff and some in-game stuff. But let's kick things off with the most important thing for you to focus on. That's going to be your main scenario quest, or MSQ. You're going to find people refer to this as the MSQ quite a bit, but this is essentially the core story quest. These are going to show up in-game with this icon that looks like a little meteor with an exclamation mark inside of it. And you can actually find these in-game as well, and they're going to show up in your quest log with a little icon, and also the game provides you with a handy guide that's on your screen that tells you what your current main scenario quest is, so you always know what to focus on next. Now, the reason that I emphasize the main story quest is because the main story quests have to be completed in order to unlock the next expansion content. They have to be completed to unlock dungeons and features. And just generally speaking, if you want to get to the end game of Final Fantasy XIV, the main scenario quest has to be completed. Now, the way the main scenario quest is broken down is from level 1 to 50-ish, you have the core game content in A Realm Reborn. From 50 to 60, you have the first expansion, which is Heaven's Ward. From 60 to 70, you have the second expansion, Stormblood. And then from 70 to 80, you have the current expansion, Shadowbringers. Now, with the upcoming expansion, Endwalker will be going from 80 to 90 in the MSQ as well. So always be doing the next MSQ main story quest. Now, the next thing that you should also focus on is going to be your class quests. Now, in Final Fantasy XIV, you have classes and you have jobs, and essentially classes are the precursors to jobs. All classes turn into some job of some form, but some jobs don't have classes associated with them. The jobs that are added in expansions don't have an associated class because they start either partway through or after the main storyline content. But when you first create a character, you're going to have to pick a class, and that class is going to have a series of quests associated with it. You're going to have a couple of quests at level 1, and then you get a new class quest every 5 levels. Now, these class quests sometimes provide you with an ability as an unlock. They always give you a weapon upgrade and a piece of gear, and they also will progress you through the story for that class, and they're required for you to transition into the job for that class. For example, if you are a gladiator because you eventually want to be the paladin job, you have to complete all the gladiator quests to be able to pick up the quest to become the paladin. So you need to complete these quests. 1, you get a pretty consistent gear upgrade. 2, some of your abilities are going to be locked behind your class quest. And trust me, you're going to want all the abilities you can get because they are few and far between in the early game content. And then finally, you're going to need these to unlock your chosen job. Now, as far as where you pick these up and what they look like, they're going to have a feature quest icon, which is a exclamation mark inside of a blue circle with a plus next to it. You can pick these up at your guilds, your class guilds. Now, your class guilds are going to be located in the capital city for the area you start in. So, for example, if you started out in New Gridania, then you're going to have access to the guilds and classes that started here. As you can see, the Archers Guild is located in New Gridania. We also have the Lancers Guild. Sorry, it took me a second to find that. And we should have one more here, I believe, as well. I think it's the Conjurers Guild. There we go. So those 3 start here. And you just have to find those, and you're going to be able to pick up a class quest, like I said, pretty frequently. If you are over in Lenosia, then you're going to be in Limsa Laminsa. Limsa Laminsa has access to the Arcanist Guild. They also have the Marauders Guild as well. And they have the Rogues Guild. Now, the Rogue is a class that you can't start out as, but you can pick up the Rogue quest. Rogue leads into Ninja, and they are located down here at the Dutiful Sisters of the Edelweiss Rogues Guild, and you can get there from the Fisherman's Guild. An easy way to tell if your guild is located in the city you're in is once you've collected all the little Aethernet shards, if you run up to your Aethernet crystal and hit the Aethernet, you can check and see. We've got the Archers, the Lancers, and the Conjurers. There's going to be 3 per city, and you should be able to teleport right to those guilds when you need to pick up your class quests. So those, again, are going to be super important for you. The next thing that you should focus on is going to be your hunting log. So your hunting log is a feature that is specific to your class in the first 20 or so levels of each of your jobs as well. They count towards that. So the hunting log is just a special log that lists out a bunch of enemies that the game wants you to go out and kill. And you can get a significant amount of XP for doing this. So if we take a look at this in game and we pull up our hunting log, you can do that with the H key. You'll be able to click and check out your hunting log for whatever particular class you're on. So for example, here I'm looking at the Marauder one. The way this works is you're going to get access to the rank 1 hunting log as soon as you start up your class, and it's going to have 10 different levels for you to tackle. At each level, it's going to ask you to kill 1 or more enemies in order to get a bonus reward. So here it wanted me to kill 3 little ladybugs for a 75 XP reward. Down here at level 10, you'll see that's gone up. And at Marauder level 10, it wants me to kill 3 megalo crabs, and it gives me a reward of 1,700. Fully completing everything on this list gives you a bonus reward of 2,500. Once you've completed the entire rank 1 and you hit level 10, you'll unlock access to the second hunting log. Now, the reason you want to do this is because it's going to have you going out and killing things that you're already going to be questing near, and they're already going to be near your level range. So if you do this later on, you won't really benefit that much from the XP or the bonus XP that you get from doing your hunting log. These XP gains of 75 and 180 and 360 mean a lot when you're level 1, 2, and 3, but they barely mean anything when you're level 30, 40, or 50. So doing these as you go along and keeping up with them is a great way to make sure that you're getting this bonus XP at a time when it's appropriate and will definitely help you. Now, these hunting logs go all the way up to the level 5 difficulty one, and that's one that you can unlock once you hit level 40 and you've completed all the previous ranks. So the hunting log will carry with you through level 50 all the way to the end of A Realm Reborn content. So this is another great way to make sure that you're getting that bonus XP, and it's a good thing to do to help you level up, especially considering later on in the game, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you. The next thing that we're going to talk about here is going to be feature quests. So feature quests are going to be the quests that have the blue background with the exclamation mark and the plus. These are kind of like your class quest. Your class quests are basically a type of feature quest, but we're talking about general feature quests. Now, I would encourage you to pull up this page here. This is the Final Fantasy XIV console games wiki. You can just type in FF14 feature quests, and this will be one of the top results for you. But this will show you what each feature quest is, where it's the quest giver is located, and what it gives you. Not all feature quests are created equal, but a lot of them will give you access to additional content that you can play or make use of while you're leveling up. So for example, the first one here at level 20 that's not a main story quest line is Halo Halatali. And this will give you access to the Halatali dungeon. So this dungeon is actually locked behind you doing this quest, which is not a main story quest. But there are other quests out there that do things like give you access to a crafting job, which you may not want to worry about when you're leveling your first job. You may just want to hit the main scenario quest, do your other stuff, and get to end game, and then come back and do a crafter. So I encourage you to keep an eye out for these feature quests and do them whenever possible, but also keep in mind that you don't have to do every single one of them. You'll want to get the ones for the dungeons so you can go in and complete those, and they get added to your dungeon queue. There's also going to be other stuff that you'll find in here. This is just a list purely for the ones that unlock dungeons for you. There are ones that unlock trials. There are ones that unlock 8-man raids, PvP, all kinds of stuff. So make sure that you're keeping tabs on your feature quests as you go. And then finally, the last thing that I want to talk to you about and point out here for leveling your first job, your first character, your first class in Final Fantasy XIV is going to be your challenge log. Now, your challenge log is a special log of things that you can do on a weekly basis to get really big bonuses for your XP. You have to unlock the challenge log by completing the level 15 quest, Rising to the Challenge. And this is, again, one of those feature quests. So that's going to unlock the challenge log for you. And then you can start doing some of the different activities in the challenge log. You won't have access to every category right away, but you will have access to some of the important ones pretty quickly. So let's take a look at the challenge log and just kind of show what's available for you there. You can open up the challenge log, and it's going to look like this. There's going to be categories on the left, and then there's going to be things you can do on the right. So, for example, in the battle categories, it gives you a goal to complete 3 dungeons via the duty roulette. Now, the duty roulette is like your dungeon finder. It's this first one here with the question mark. It's basically queuing into something random. So if you complete 3 dungeons via the duty roulette, which will get you a nice chunk of XP, then you will also complete the Feeling Lucky challenge log objective here, which will reward you with a huge chunk of XP and also a little bit of gold. You have additional ones here like just complete 5 dungeons, which you're going to do when you're leveling up anyway. Complete guild hest, etc., etc. So you have the battle ones, you have PvP, you have fates, which are the world events, so completing 5 fates with the highest rating possible, which you can do while you're leveling. Completing leave quests, crafting, gathering, etc., etc. There are many categories, many things that you can do in the challenge log to get bonus XP, basically just for doing what you're going to be doing anyway. Now, one thing to note for the challenge log is your reward from the challenge log is percentage based on the level that you are. So if you complete these at the start of the week, which, I mean, don't let this stop you. This is just a min-maxy thing. If you complete these at the start of the week, when you're level 10, you'll get, 10% or whatever. I don't know what the actual percentage is, but let's say 10% of level 10 from doing this challenge, which, let's say that's 1,000 XP. And then at the end of the week, before all this resets, let's say you got to level 20. Well, if you completed these challenge log objectives when you were level 20, you'll get 10% of level 20, which might be 2,000 XP. So if you want to min-max a little bit, waiting to complete the challenge log entries that you can until towards the end of the week is generally going to net you more experience, even though it's going to net you the same percentage of a class no matter when you complete it. These do reset weekly. You'll see the time limit down here. It'll tell you how much time is remaining and the date and time at which these challenges are going to reset. The weekly reset is on Tuesday if you're in the US at 3 a.m. Central Time. So you can complete these all the time. So those are the things that I wanted to point out. And since we mentioned it, I'll point out one special bonus one. While you're leveling, I would keep an eye out for any sort of fates. If I can find one here. I may not be able to. Let's go teleport. Fates are the open world events that you can find just out while you're leveling. You're going to see them as you go by. It's going to say, hey, you've encountered a fate. Here they are. So you're going to see them. They look like this. They have a blue area. This is the area the fate is taking place in. And then also you can take a look at the fate and you can see the level, the time remaining, and the progress of the fate. So those three things. The level's important. You can level sync down to fates, but generally it's better to just try to do the ones that are around your level anyway while you're questing and not just run around and do these all the time. The time remaining, if there's very little time remaining and you don't think you can get over to the fate, don't worry about it. And also keep an eye on the progress. This is going up really fast, so even if you have plenty of time, if the progress is going up super fast and you think it's going to be completed before you're done with it, you should probably also skip it. But generally, these are fairly easy. You're going to see a bar pop up on the side of your screen, and that is going to tell you what you need to do. You may need to kill one big monster, kill waves of enemies, go collect items, etc., etc. So while you're out there wandering the world, go ahead and hit these when you can, but I don't really consider them a high priority for your first job or class. They become a little bit more important once you're leveling your alt jobs and classes. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these tips and advice. If you have anything else that you'd like to add, feel free to put it in the comments section below. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments section below as well. Guys, check out the description below for information on the server that I'm on. I'm encouraging everybody to come out and play. I've got a free company there that you can join, and we're basically just leveling, doing dungeons, Palace of the Dead, etc., trying to get ready for Endwalker, the new expansion launching on November 23rd this year. All right, thanks everybody. Hope you are having a lot of fun out there, and I'll see you in the next video.